So we're talking huge long trips they would talk about through the middle of nowhere for hours and hours and hours. It was hard to work there, basically. What he does at this moment is he finds a valet for himself. Finds himself a female manager. Now, where do you find a female manager? They don't have they weren't pumping them out. There was no college for that back then. Let's see. A chance meeting at a strip club.
Yahtzee.
Yahtzee. There you go.
Tampa.
It's the other thing too. Come on.
It's not in Tampa.
It's Atlanta, actually.
All right.
In Atlanta, which it's known more for strip clubs than Atlanta. Actually, Atlanta's known for strip clubs. That's like all the athletes get in trouble down there. Remember that big NBA thing where they had all the different? Was it the Gold Club or some shit?
There's one there that's like haunted or some shit. So it's like a big. What is it? The seventh veil? Is it the seventh veil in Atlanta?
Hold on, those are two very separate amounts. Ghosts and tits. What are we doing here? No, it's Dirty Dick Darrell Dingus fucking Dodge sponsors Ghost Night down at the strip club here.
I forget. It's a very popular, famous one though.
So, he finds a young lady named Linda Newton, who he names. Obviously, that's not going to be her ring name. She's a black lady. He finds a young black woman to, on purpose, try to stoke the fire. He's trying to piss the rednecks off. Is what he does. So back then, that was a big thing that they used to do. Even into the '90s, they did that. Like, you remember Harlem Heat?
I do.
Booker T and Stevie Ray. Well, they gave them the manager Sherry Martell, Sensational Sherry, and they thought that they were doing that to piss people off. Like, oh, this white lady's gonna go out with these two black guys. It was like 1993, and they were still doing that. So back then in the 80s, this was like, we're in the South. This is gonna be a big deal, and it pissed people off. They didn't like it. Her name, though, what he named her, Dark Journey.
No, no, you don't get to do that.
Dark Journey. Dirty Dark Journey. Dirty Dick Dark Journey. What the fuck? Dark Journey. That is...
You can't do that.
You can't do that.
There's nothing to be... There's no dark, there's no shade, there's no brown, there's no... Nothing. No. You don't even call it brown sugar. No.
Journey?
No.
Jesus.
God damn it.
Christ.
Find a personality trait.
Oh my God. Well,
run with that.
Well, no. Back then, we've talked about, if you haven't listened to the back then racist wrestling tropes, and it was always... There was a million of them. Black guy, hard head. Also Islander, hard head. Asian, sneaky, always. Puerto Rican, too fiery. They get all upset at the referee, and the guy sneaks up behind him and roll him up. Just the fiery Latin temper. And they would say he's got his Latin temper going. They'd say shit like that. I swear to God, everyone had a stereotype. If you headbutted a black guy, no matter how bad they were losing, if you headbutted him, you'd get hurt, and they'd stand there shaking their head, going, "Nah, motherfucker," and then the match would be turned around, and they'd be winning. It's crazy. So, Dark Journey here, Linda, we'll call her Linda. Linda said, quote, "I was working at a club outside of Atlanta, and Dick Slater came in by himself. I remember talking..."
Burned calories, 204 calories. You've completed 30 minutes. Heart rate, 115 beats per minute.
To him at least once, and then he brought me a drink. He bought me a drink, not brought me a drink. He probably mentioned wrestling and me being involved, but I just basically blew it off. Wrestling wasn't an interest to me. I didn't understand wrestling. The first wrestling match I had ever seen was the first match I was actually in. I was never a fan of wrestling. So he just saw a chick that he thought was hot, and he's like, "You're hot and black, and that'll piss people off. Fucking, let you come in with me." So she said, quote, "I think he came back again and talked to the owner of the club. The owner called me at my house and said Slater was real serious about it, and they thought it was a good opportunity for me to get a start in the business." The wrestling business, not the stripping business. She's already in that. She said, "Slater came over to my house. I had a roommate, and he talked to me and my boyfriend about his size, about his idea, and I said I'd give it a try." So he had a boyfriend at the time. After a while, they end up being together. Dick and Linda here end up being hooked up together for a while. That lasts a couple of years, and then it kind of falls apart, like most of these wrestling relationships do. So she said she didn't know what she was doing.